Before we discuss some more trade destinations, this time on Anthony Richardson, we will be live for the 2024 NFL trade deadline. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Anthony Richardson was benched on Tuesday by the Indianapolis Colts. His future's in doubt. Now, Indy is saying, well, this wasn't about him subbing himself out. Okay. They're saying, we're not done with Anthony. This is just a break. Look, benching your quarterback is usually the end of him with your team. It's kind of like if you and your girlfriend go on a break. I know it's over. Like, you're on a break, but you've broken up. Like, it very rarely does it all end up being a happy ending, and normally it's ugly and toxic along the way in the process. So, in reality, the Colts have given up on Richardson after 7 full games. 7 games of a dude that was 20 when they drafted him. That they said that they knew, hey, we're aiming for the Josh Allen archetype here. Took Josh Allen 3 years to hit his kind of stride, and he was even older than Richardson was, and they're out after 7 games. It reeks of ownership interference to me. There's trade value here. Contract's not that bad. The arm strength and mobility is still incredible. It's the down in, down out consistency is simply not there. We all know that. You're not interested in Anthony Richardson for what he is right now, because right now he's not playing well. We all know that. It has not been pretty out of Richardson. It's actually been fairly ugly. But it is the idea of AR that is intriguing. I almost called him by that name. I don't want to go by anymore. It is the idea of, I've got the most athletic quarterback prospect ever, who's like 22 years old, and is younger than like every guy in this draft class, and I can have him for 2.5 years, potentially a 5th-year option too. It's actually intriguing for NFL teams. There is a trade market there. He's not owed very much money. $2.3 million, about half that actually if he's traded. 3.84 next year, 5.4 in 2026. That's backup quarterback money. That's like cheap backup quarterback money. Then there's the 5th-year option. Indy saves basically no money if they trade him, especially now. This might be more of an off-season type of move, and maybe they didn't go back to him like the Panthers went back to Bryce Young. Look how that's going. Once you do it, it's over, folks. Do you think the Colts should trade Anthony Richardson? We'll make this the pinned comments on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Let's break down some trade destinations for Richardson. Now, in a way, you can cross off most NFL teams here. You know, if your quarterback is under contract for the same time Richardson is, it doesn't make any sense. Because you're just going to ride that guy out. If he's a good quarterback, I should say. And if you're a bad team with a bad quarterback, timing's not great. Because you're not a good team. You probably aren't going to get the best play this year out of Richardson because he's learning a new offense. It'll take some time. There will be the ups and downs he's facing right now. You're going to be drafting early. So you go QB right out of Richardson. If you trade for him and make him your starter, you're kind of hitching your wagon to him. If you are a bad team. So you might just embrace the 2025 NFL draft because the hope and optimism around the new toy is more intriguing than the toy you just traded for, right? I also have a joke trade idea. Who says no? Richardson for Bryce Young. Who says no? Probably both sides, actually, because they probably both want picks. But it's funny enough to at least bring it up. So both quarterbacks kind of in similar spots, by the way. Early round picks haven't gone well. Quick triggers on pulling them. Technically quicker on Anthony Richardson because he played half the games. But if you had to have one guy, you had to keep one guy, who would it be? AR for Anthony Richardson, BY for Bryce Young. Let's go from 6 to 1, my 6 favorite destinations here. The Jets, number 6. Or number 6, I should say. Look, this is kind of in the weird fit category. Aaron Rodgers has a limited time left in the NFL. It is no more than a year and a half, I feel like. They spent a 5th-round pick on Jordan Travis, I think as a backup in the NFL, and he's on the NFL list anyway. The biggest issue against a potential Jets trade is this. you are going to have a new coaching staff next year, and you'll probably have a new GM. So a future trade for a quarterback that's going to ride the pine for a year and a half, probably doesn't make the most sense for New York. But if Rodgers goes down, you could give Richardson a chance. So it's 6 for a reason for me. Number 5, and I like my top 5 more than I like most. Big drop off from 6 here. That is the Las Vegas Raiders. We all have eyes. Some work better than others. Like I wear contacts. I'm kind of blind without them. Even without my contacts in, I can tell you the Raiders quarterback room sucks. It's bad. It's Minshew is Gardner Minshew. Aiden O'Connell's not a starter. They have nothing short-term, nothing long-term. Richardson gives them significantly more upside than what they have, and they wouldn't have to draft a QB. Now, maybe they want to. This could be an obvious Shadur Sanders destination. I also wonder if Luke Getsy is the right offensive coordinator for Richardson or, frankly, any quarterback in the NFL. The Raiders are 5 because they need him. They need a better quarterback, I should say. But I kind of question the fit. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation designed to make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. The all-in pricing feature, toggle it on to see your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat before you buy as well. And the Game Time ticket coverage is the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So if you're buying tickets to any event, use the Game Time app. Don't be silly. Download the Game Time app today. Create your account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's Game Time. Number 4, the Cleveland Browns, it's kind of like, I think, a fun under-the-radar destination here. There's no way around it. The Browns are stuck with the Deshaun Watson contract. He was terrible this year. Now he's coming off an Achilles injury. You're just stuck with that contract. So you really can't afford to sink more significant money into the quarterback spot because it's just not feasible. Now, Jameis Winston is better than Watson and Richardson, but I don't think he's a long-term solution for the Browns. They might win enough games to take themselves out of that top 10 pick conversation with Winston, frankly. But they're also not going to be a top 10 team with Winston. So adding a cheap, young, big-armed quarterback that, look, they can hit the go balls they hit last year with Flacco. Winston was chucking bombs. He's got a big arm. I think that fits actually pretty well, and the contract cost makes it intriguing. If you're looking big picture for Cleveland, going after Richardson and kind of having that same window of trying with him while you're stuck with the Deshaun Watson contract, I think matches up actually super well for Cleveland. I got 3 more teams to go to here, and I think they're 3 of my favorite fits here. I do like the Browns a lot too, but there's talent. Who do you think will end up trading for Anthony Richardson? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Number 3, the L.A. Rams. And we mentioned them for Bryce Young for similar reasons. Like Matthew Stafford is the starter in L.A. But for how much longer? There was some contract issue stuff that went on this offseason. They can get out of that contract with pretty limited issues if they wanted to. He turns 37 this offseason. He's getting up there in age. Sean McVay has done good work with quarterbacks. I also don't know when or if Richardson would get any reps. It's probably not going to come this year. So now you're down to 2 years, but he knows the offense. If you move on from Stafford, it's a better version of the Jets option. You sit him for a year and then get him going. And you got a much better coaching staff in LA than you do have in New York by a pretty easy option. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, they might have been number 1 if the head coach was still there. Remember, Pete Carroll publicly admitted after the NFL draft that they strongly considered drafting Anthony Richardson. They strongly considered it. There was the connection between Carroll and Richardson. Carroll called him the best quarterback athlete ever. Like, tremendous consideration, what was the phrase by Seattle. Now, John Schneider's still there. Seattle traded Sam Howell, who, look, he is who he is. He's, I don't think, a real long-term answer, but he's a fine backup. Geno Smith is clearly better than Richardson and Sam Howell, by the way. And I think Geno's underrated. He's also 34 years old. And in the Ryan Grubb-style offense, I think he actually fits pretty well, which features plenty of vertical shots there. Seattle, with the previous connection and the longer-term need at quarterback, stands out as a underrated but sneaky good fit for Richardson. Now, this is the key question of one reason why teams might be interested. They might not think he's any good. What is your confidence level in Richardson to not go down as a bust? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section. But number 1 for me, and I already floated this by our Giants Now host, Marshall Green, and he's like, low-key, is his response. I think it's the New York football Giants. And I would do this today or tomorrow or whenever, and I would get him in lineup as soon as humanly possible. Daniel Jones is not good. We know that. Richardson at least makes big plays happen. He can do things Daniel Jones cannot. He could be, I think he's a strong fit in a Brian Daboll offense, given that the Brian Daboll offense helped maximize Josh Allen, which is what you're hoping to get out of Anthony Richardson. Now, it's a hope. It maybe isn't the best bet, but if they're going to be drafting at 7 and the quarterbacks go early because it's not a real quarterback class or they get pushed up or whatever, I think this makes sense. Look, Daniel Jones completing is not good. Like, we don't have to pretend anymore, guys. We're still looking for the first DJ touchdown pass at MetLife in like a year and a half. It's almost 2 years now. It's embarrassing. Like, the Daniel Jones experiment is over. Let's try a new one in Richardson. It might not work, but he's got the upside, and you can give it 2 years and then blow the whole thing up if you need to. Or even just a year, and if it's really bad, maybe you're in Arch Manning range.